We have had some technical problems.
Hit it!
You are connected to Ace TJ 5G. Ace TJ Riggins Alexis Tech D-Rob. Live from the Calatrend Studios, this is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show.
Yeah, it is. What's today? Tuesday? Taco Tuesday?
Man, wouldn't a taco kill right now?
I done had one.
Oh, you had your breakfast tacos this morning, TJ?
Got a little crazy with the hot sauce though this morning, so I might be refluxing throughout the day. So maybe that'll just make me sound like a cheesy DJ.
Looking forward to for the rest of the show.
Although refluxing is a burning sensation that take your breath. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, especially when it starts while you're wearing a cool Maverick Top Gun face mask looking thing.
Your CPAP machine?
Yep.
Do you have to rip that thing off? And
Oh yeah.
really?
Yeah. All the sexiness.
What a scene in there.
I know. I feel sorry for my wife. God bless her. Because she didn't sign up for this deal. She signed up for a guy that was good looking and had all of his faculties about him. And didn't have to deal with incontinence.
Incontinence.
But don't you have to worry about that? That kind of
all of it, man. I got all them problems.
Well, she did sign up for that though, because that kind of just comes as those are things you can't foresee. You didn't know you were going to be CPAP wearing guy at night.
For better
I
or for
guess
worse.
not.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm looking at it through my lens, where I'd have done gotten rid of her.
Yeah,
Well, okay.
definitely.
Well,
So God bless her.
yeah, if you put it that way, God bless her for not running off.
It's not the news, it's more important. Now trending with Riggins on the Ace and TJ show.
Top trending topic at the moment, hashtag Met Gala. That was last night. And I told you yesterday during that trending, I mean, it's just to use a word that TJ coined, a celebrity freak show. I think he is the one that started saying it. But it is. And it lived up to the hype. Jared Leto shows up wearing... Okay, so let me just explain this. It's a big fundraising event in New York. And everybody every year has a theme, and this year's theme was Karl Lagerfeld, who was the chief stylist at Chanel for decades. So if you don't know who Karl Lagerfeld, he looks like a ghoul. White skin, white hair. He's dead now. Wore gloves. So anyway, Jared Leto shows up dressed as a cat. Doja Cat dresses as a cat. Karl Lagerfeld had this little cat named... doesn't matter. Just
Wasn't it like Choupé? Choupé. Something like that? Yeah.
He carried the cat with him everywhere he went. It was idiotic.
like Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
So Doja Cat only does interviews in a cat voice. Rihanna shows up looking like a whack job. Serena Williams, who's pregnant, worst dressed of the night. I don't know. It's like she got dressed in the dark. Awful. Pete Davidson looks like a toilet bowl, dumb idiot. Just hated it all. I hate it all, but I love to watch it because it's wacky. So go check out some of the postings under that.
But that
hashtag.
is still
It's
the
really
top
fun.
trending topic in the world right now. The Met
It
Gala.
is. Yeah.
And again, that is the most dysfunctional group in our society.
Certainly.
The Hollywood entertainment celebrities.
Lil Nas X, butt naked, dressed in diamonds. I mean,
Yeah.
touching his butt cheeks. I mean, it was a scene.
Although I see Anne Hathaway is trending because everybody seemed to love her dress. She looked beautiful.
Anne Hathaway reminds me of an envelope for some reason. I see an envelope, just kind of white, square, and thin. Just an envelope. She's a pretty girl. Gordon Lightfoot is trending. He just passed away, 84. I don't know any Gordon Lightfoot songs,
Yeah.
but people are talking about it. Did he do... What's a
Gordon Lightfoot do the record of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But I
It's
know
amazing that he's trending. That's all
You're
I'm
right.
saying.
That's
Well, no, I mean, he was in his day. I think he was part of that freedom rock kind of hippie stuff.
Yeah.
But I am glad I didn't have that vaccine.
Yeah, exactly. It's
You hear
world.
stories like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
just plucked away from us at the tender age of 84.
Yes, two biggest songs, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald in 1976, and If You Could Read My Mind in 1970.
If you could read my mind.
Yeah,
That sounds familiar.
All
but
I know of each one are those, If You Could Read My Mind. That's, I don't, and I may not have gotten that right, I don't know.
Yeah.
You may be thinking about the 80s song, I think Alan Parsons Project. I can read your mind.
Yeah, not the same
maybe.
song.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because that's what I first thought this morning when I was.
Sorry, Gordon Lightfoot. I
Yeah.
thought you were granting the Graham Parsons Project.
Yeah, the
Alan
only reason I
Parsons
know those
Project.
songs is because I was working on the oldies radio station.
Yeah.
When the cool station became an oldie station when I was in college. I worked there.
R.I.P. Gordon.
Peace out, Gordon
Bless his
Lightfoot.
heart.
Love you. And then the Hollywood writers are on strike as of midnight last night. So last time they went on strike, I think was 2007 or 2008. And they said it went on for 100 days. It cost the community $2 billion when the writers go on strike. And they said the first thing you'll notice is like the late night shows and SNL, those kind of things. But the writers' main beef is that they don't get as much money from reruns and stuff like you would typically get from sitcoms because of all the streaming services. So I don't know how you want to justify that. Well, then go renegotiate your contract and say, I want a piece of, however many streams it get. You got to update because they're not doing reruns anymore. I don't know that that's a good reason to go on strike.
But
to
that's
me.
what happens when you negotiate as a group rather than as individuals.
Yeah, I mean, they're
That's
all
what unions are.
part of the guild. So
They're
Yeah,
saying
and so-
they've lost money because there are no more reruns. Because
Yeah,
for
it's
example,
less popular.
if you were a writer on Friends, it's on, even though it's on TV, it's also showing on Netflix and on. They're not getting a piece of that action as much as they are like TBS. or
yeah,
something.
but the studios are saying, well, it's not like we're over here printing money. We're losing money as well. I mean, if you look at all the media layoffs that are happening,
Yeah.
every big studio is laying off people. So I don't know. I obviously don't have enough information to decide one way or the other, but I feel like it's not like anybody's getting super rich like the regular studios. I mean, they're laying off a bunch of people. They wouldn't
Yeah.
be doing that if they were doing really well.
And I think that since I've been able to pay attention and understand things in the world, that the writers have gone on strike more than any other group of employees in any business.
Agreed.
It's like when we were little kids, the writers were on strike. I mean, it's like every few years, every time there's time for a new contract, they go on strike.
Yeah.
But then again, what it ultimately boils down to is who is fighting whom in this deal.
Yeah. Who's fighting who?
Liberals are fighting liberals, and that is my favorite thing, other than bum fights.
Bum fights number one, still number one. Then liberals fighting each other. It's perfect. Well, I know the pilots are going on strike today too. I think so. Everybody's striking. I'm going to go on strike. I don't want to. I'm going to strike today. How do I strike? What do I got to do?
Can you wait till tomorrow? Maybe Alexis will be back.
Yeah,
So we won't be
that's probably good.
shorthanded.
Yeah. I'm going to strike. I just decided it just now.
Well,
So-
good, because we can use that money. TJ and I can split your money.
Well, it ain't going to get you very far. I don't know if you see my paycheck.
Every little bit helps these days, man. Every little bit helps.
But for it to count, you got to be out here with the picket sign.
I'll get the picket sign. Yeah. I'll show up at your house. I don't care. I'll
Okay.
pick it anywhere. So those are a few things that are now trending.
I've got a nice sidewalk in front of my house. You can pick it off.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, you're right. My paycheck might help.
Yeah, I'm all
Hey,
for
you
that.
can-
We'll just cut you loose.
We'll get
be
you back in the
you-
garage.
Ricky, you just got fired.
You can pick it in front of my house, but if you don't mind, will you hold the leaf blower while you're doing it?
Yeah.
While you're walking back and forth, because we had some high winds the other night. I got to get out there.
Ricky just mentioned it. This Doja Cat thing from last night is just. You want an example of just how weird this event is? We'll give you that. And today's edition of Group Therapy is great. Mom's just trying to help their kid, but dad doesn't know anything about it, and therein lies the problem. Should he know? Wait until we tell you what mom's doing to help the kid out next.
Live on your radio and anytime you want us, wherever you get podcasts. This is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show. Don't just listen to the Ace and TJ show. Watch it. Now available 24 hours a day on YouTube. Just search for Ace TJ TV. This is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show.
Met Gala happened last night, just to show you how crazy this thing is. And I know this is the thing. This is how it's supposed to be. This is how everybody wants it to be. Just ludicrous and over the top. But this is an interview with Doja Cat on the red carpet. I'm not sure who the interviewer is. It doesn't matter because all of her interviews went just like this.
Wait, so who made it? Wow. Okay, so something a little different. So, what was your inspiration for tonight? Be honest with me and go into detail. So, what are you excited to see in there today?
So the reporter had to be in on that, right?
Of course. Of course.
Because she sounded like a bad morning host who's doing a fake interview.
Yeah.
Where the answers are already, recorded onto the tape or something, and they're having to fill the spot and make it seem like a real conversation.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
It is the first time I've ever seen a cat vaping, though. Vaping down the red carpet.
It's Tuesday. The doctors are in. This is group therapy on the Ace and TJ show.
Okay. This one comes from a wife and mother who DM'd us on Facebook. If you ever need a question, have a question you want answered, need some help from an opinion from the radio family, can't get it from your friends, just DM us, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at the Ace TJ Show. Here's what she says. My husband and I have a great relationship, but there is one issue. Our son is 25, graduated from college and got a good first job, but he's not making enough money to live comfortably. Things are really tight, and he doesn't have any savings in case anything were to go wrong. I mentioned to my husband that we could help pay a little of his rent each month, and my husband refused, saying that we paid for college. And he's out in the world, and he has to learn to budget accordingly and grow up and take care of himself. Okay, end of story, except that I handle all the money and pay all the bills. So for the past few months, I have been secretly sending our son $500 to help cover the rent or to save a little. My husband has no idea because he never looks at the money, and I just report to him each month with an update on where we are financially. Saturday, my husband said how proud he was of our son because he hasn't asked for anything and he's doing so well, it seems. I started to feel bad about what I am doing. Do you think I should tell him? He will be very upset at me and my son will definitely lose that money. What do you think?
So the question is, should she tell her husband?
Yeah.
Or should she just stop giving the son the money?
No, should she tell her husband knowing that will stop the money, or just continue doing what she's doing and be quiet about it?
I think maybe just stop the money.
And not tell her husband that she's been doing it? Well, there's another option.
But then when the son, when he's not getting the money anymore, go, what happened to the money mom was sending me?
Well,
I'm sure the son's in on it too. Hey, don't tell your dad I'm sending you this money.
Yeah, he knows enough to know not to say anything. Would he be able to just keep it quiet? But what happens then if he begins to struggle suddenly and dad's like, now dad's not proud of him anymore? Doesn't mom want dad to be proud of the son? So at the Ace TJ Show, what do you think should happen? Riggins, is this something that would happen in your house?
Yeah.
Your mom would help you without telling your dad?
Sure. That's what moms do.
Would your dad be very upset when he found out?
I don't know. Probably not. Or maybe. I don't know. I really don't know.
If this were your mom, would she continue to do it without telling your dad ever?
Probably.
Okay. She just never would. She'd be like, well, I feel bad about it, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep doing it until such time as Brian tells me to stop.
Mm-hmm. I wish this was happening right now. Oh my God, I wish I could get $500.
$500 a month goes a long way. Mm-hmm. Rob, is this something that would have ever happened in your house with your parents?
No, my dad was the one who would offer money.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he wasn't one to just throw money around if your mom said no?
No.
Okay. So at the Ace TJ Show, what should she do? So mom's question, should she tell her husband what she's been doing? Should she just, as TJ suggested, stop giving the son the money and never say anything? Or just let it keep going like it is? At the Ace TJ Show, we'll get your answers next.
Don't miss the Extra Funny podcast coming up at 9 Eastern, live on the Ace and TJ app, or download anytime wherever you get podcasts. More Ace and TJ coming up. On your phone, on your radio, in your car, on your iPad, on your computer. Anytime, anywhere, for your entertainment. This is the Ace and TJ radio show and podcast.
On your YouTube, Ace TJ TV on YouTube is where you can find all of our stuff. Latest edition of TJ and Jody's House podcast was posted yesterday. New Nerd News going up there today, along with the Extra Funny podcast that goes up every day. You can watch it live on YouTube at 9 a.m. Eastern every day. But so a lady DM'd us for today's edition of Group Therapy, and they have a 25-year-old son. She and her husband have a 25-year-old son. He graduated from college. They paid for college, and she says money is tight for him. He doesn't have any savings really in case anything were to go wrong, is the way she wrote it. So secretly, she's been funneling off about $500 a month to the son. The dad, when they discussed it originally, said, no, we don't do that. We've paid for college. He's got to learn to budget his money. This is part of making your way in life. I remember graduating from college, and for the first couple of years, I couldn't afford health insurance. So, you just took that risk for a couple of years. Like, go without that, whatever. So, husband has no idea that the son is getting this money, and now she begins to feel bad because just over the weekend the husband was saying he was proud of the son because he hadn't asked for anything. He's doing so well, it seems. He knows that money's tight, but he's proud of him because it seemed like he was making his way. Now mom feels bad and wants to know what she should do. Keep doing it and don't say a word. Stop giving him the money and not say anything to her husband, or suddenly tell the husband the whole deal, knowing that he's going to shut it down. Boy, we got a lot of responses very quickly on this. And it seems to be about 70-30 first. Almost 100% of the people said you should stop giving him the money immediately. The question becomes whether or not you should tell your husband. Most people say it's about 60-40. Don't tell him. Just stop with the money and let it go.
Yeah.
But one lady takes an interesting take. She said, you're helping him not move back in the house. So it's okay because you're helping him stay out there so you and your husband, so he can stay on his own. Michelle said, if she doesn't work, then yes, she should tell him. If she works, then she can somewhat justify doing that. I agree with him in that the son needs to learn to budget accordingly. They still need our help every now and then, though. Just don't make it a habit. Or the only way they'll spend any time knowing their parents is when they only need money from them.
Yeah, and I can see where she's coming from on that. Because if he works, then he should be able to do with whatever he wants to do with the household money and not have to worry about telling her about it.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, the fact that she handles the money, and she said what she does is just every month gives him a report of where they are financially. She does all the bill paying and everything. So she just handles it all. And and dad just is like, okay. So he fully puts his faith and trust in mom to spend the money accordingly.
But by that rationale, that the wife, if she works, then she should be able to sneak money to the son if she wants to. Same with him. If the husband works, he should be able to sneak money wherever he wants to. Right? Yeah. As long as he's working.
And Melissa said, come clean and then set a date for the handouts to end. I learned so much about money when my parents stopped paying for things that stay with me today.
Yeah, that life sucks.
That it's hard.
That's what you learn when your parents stop paying for stuff. That life is not fun.
And it's tough. And Samantha said, dishonesty is dishonesty no matter what makeup you slap on it. Do what, Riggins?
Calm down. I mean, it's not like she's buying cocaine on the side. It's
Okay,
like giving money to her kid.
They had a conversation. Dad said, no, I don't want us doing that, and gave a valid reason why. And mom said, okay, fair enough. We won't do it. And then she goes back and starts slipping him money on the side.
Well, listen, kids have learned from, I mean, that refrigerator magnet that was in everybody's house. When dad says no, ask mom. So it was ingrained in them at an early age. Dad says, no, you just got to ask mom. That's what moms do.
Yeah, and mom will be more than happy to show you how to show disrespect to your father and his wishes. That's what that means.
There you go. That's exactly what that means.
Your mother will be glad to illustrate how your dad is a second-class citizen in the home.
Yeah.
No matter what he does to provide.
I learned early on though, to ask my kids, did you already ask your mom?
Yeah.
And make them answer so that if they lie, and they would never lie, they were like, yes, sir. Okay, well then you know the answer. You know my answer.
See, I never had to ask that because I knew, because I could be up in my room or down in the basement, wherever I was, depending on the house that we were living in, and I could hear Jody's voice, her little sweet voice, echoing throughout the house. I don't know. You got to ask your daddy about that. Go ask your daddy. So
whether you wanted to hear it or not, TJ, you heard it.
Mm-hmm. And by the time they got to wherever I was in the house, she had already texted me. I told them that I don't think they should do. I don't think they should do this, but I told them to ask you. Well, why didn't you just tell them? Because I'm not always going to be the bad guy. Yes, you are. No matter what, you're always going to be the bad guy, Jody.
Yeah.
Because you're yelling at them.
So group therapy, the result is everybody believes she should stop sending the kid money. And most people believe she should tell her husband.
I think she should tell the husband, so then I'm changing my answer. She should tell the husband so then he knows exactly what he's dealing with in a partner so he can leave her.
Yeah.
Because she's not a good partner.
But here's the question that comes out of this, though. What are you hiding from your significant other right now? So this mom hiding the fact that she's giving the son $500 a month against the dad's wishes. What are you currently in the moment right now hiding from your significant other? And how long has it been? At the Ace TJ Show. We'll see if anybody can compete next.
Don't miss the Extra Funny podcast coming up at 9 Eastern, live on the Ace and TJ app, or download anytime wherever you get podcasts. More Ace and TJ coming up. There's a lot happening with the radio family. Here's what's new today from the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show.
The Extra Funny podcast is new today, live on our YouTube channel, Ace TJ TV at 9 Eastern. And then after that, you can watch it on our YouTube channel and also check out Nerd News from Tech D Rob. That's going to be new today. So there's a lot of stuff always happening from the Ace and TJ show. Ace TJ TV, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So today's group therapy is kind of morphed into another piece of radio bittage regarding secrets you have from your significant other. Because if you missed the group therapy, mom's been hiding the fact that she sends their son $500 a month. And then she started feeling guilty about it because the dad was saying how proud he was of the son the other day for learning how to budget. He hadn't asked for anything. He's doing great. He's doing great because mom's secretly slipping him $500 a month that dad doesn't know about. So what are you hiding from your significant other? This DM says, keep me anonymous. My boyfriend and I are on a fairly strict diet. We cut out all the bad things that you're not supposed to eat while you're on a diet. However, I have a weakness for an ice cold can of Sun Drop. He doesn't know when I stop to get anything at a gas station, I always have to get a Sun Drop. I'll look over my shoulder thinking somebody we know is going to see me, or somehow he's going to find out by me forgetting to throw the can away. I feel like I'm scoring and hiding drugs that I get on the corner.
Yeah. It's like, how redneck. I mean,
Riggins, look at the last thing I just wrote on my list of notes.
my redneck weakness.
I love it.
Good Lord.
Love it.
You're darting around in the secrecy and hiding, sneaking sun drops.
Get a Sun Drop.
Goodness.
What's your redneck weakness? Hey, I just tell my husband I got to have a dip of skull every now and then.
I got to get me a cowtail and a sun drop. Got to have it.
This lady said the tattoo I have on my ankle was not a tattoo I got with my sister. I got it with my ex.
Ooh.
So I guess she doesn't want him to know that. I don't know why. Would it matter? It's an ex. It's over and done with. I love this one. She says,
But it's a constant reminder of you wishing you was still with him.
Yeah.
keep me anonymous, but I still smoke. He thinks I quit last summer, but I only smoke when he's gone, and I Febreze the garage after.
Oh, she's smoking in the garage? Nice.
So he's not home. She slips out to the garage and walks around the garage spraying Febreze everywhere.
I got a feeling he knows.
Would Febreze not that? I mean, in a garage, you get air and all, but I guess if you give it enough time, would that cover up the scent of the smoke?
I don't think so.
It would probably do the best job, but probably not great.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're in the garage when you leave the door open,
Go outside.
so the smoke's not stuck in the garage.
That's what I assume. Oh, you think she leaves the door closed?
Why would she need that much Febreze and have to worry about it if the door is open? It's just like smoking outside, pretty much.
Yeah, I picture her hot box in the garage for some reason. If she's
Yeah.
freezing the garage.
Yeah, I just assumed the garage door was open. That would be the point of going into the garage. That seems weird. And not shocked by this one. This guy says, keep me anonymous. I save $200 every month for a guy's trip that I'm taking to Vegas in December that my wife is not aware of yet.
Oh, well, that's fine.
So
Does he work?
I guess. Yeah.
Well, then he's fine.
That's right. We learned that earlier. As long as he works, he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I mean, that seems way worse than what the woman was doing, the mother.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because he's only helping himself to go on a vacation. She's at least helping their kid that they both brought into the world. That seems way more scandalous than what she's doing.
But the dishonesty is on the same level. It's
Maybe,
all
maybe.
dishonest,
But
and I don't promote dishonesty.
Yeah.
what if he was spending $500 on cocaine and she's giving $500 to the kid? I mean, there's levels to it, right?
Sure, sure.
I think going on a guy's trip and not telling her is worse than giving
Well,
$500
he
to
said
the
she
kid.
doesn't know yet. That leads me to believe maybe he's going to tell her when she
Yeah,
says,
I'm sure.
we can't really afford that. He's like, well, actually, I've been putting money away. I'm good to go.
Right. And then she should say, okay, well, if you were able to put money away all this time for a guy's trip, why weren't you putting the money away for us to get to go somewhere together?
Yeah.
Because it's a guy's trip.
He's got like the coconut bra on. He's like,
Yeah.
"Babe, I'm sorry.
I mean, it's a guy's trip. That's well. What about us going somewhere? Well, maybe we can do that when it's not a guy's trip.
Does he say that's his wife or his girlfriend? Did he say?
Wife.
Said it was wife.
Okay. Well, then husbands don't need to be going to Vegas on guys' trips to begin with.
Yeah.
That's what she should throw at him.
Really?
And I'd stand right behind her on that.
This is the Ace and TJ Show.
Who sang that song, Freaks Come Out at Night?
Houdini.
Houdini was right about one thing, because the freaks do come out at night, and they came out last night in a big way.
Nice.
I'll tell you why. Coming up next in Now Trending.
From the Calitrin Studios, this is the Ace and TJ Show. Find out more about Calitrin at acetj.com/weight loss. From the Calitrin Studios, Calitrin is the safe and effective way to lose weight. Find out more about Calitrin at acetj.com/weight loss. This is the Ace and TJ radio show and podcast.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Right.
We're down Alexis today for a different reason than yesterday.
Yeah, she had a blowout on the way to work this morning. Crying like a baby.
And did send photos. So she's not lying. That's
good.
Yeah.
I was like, stop crying. Grow up.
So hopefully she's back with us tomorrow.
I didn't say that. I just said, all right, I got to go.
Pulling into work. See you later.
It's not the news, it's more important. Now trending with Riggins on the Ace and TJ Show.
All right, so Freak Show coming up. We got to talk about that here shortly. But today is National Teacher Appreciation Day, part of National Teacher Appreciation Week. And I would imagine eventually we get to Teacher Appreciation Month.
Yeah.
And
The year of
yes.
teacher. We appreciate you. Got
Every
it.
day should be Teacher Appreciation Day.
Right.
Are you saying that, or are you saying that's what it will become?
I'm just saying that.
Okay.
I think teachers should be appreciated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not all of them.
If they're good teachers,
Some of them suck.
that is true.
Some of them are destroying our culture and our moral fabric. But there are others that are really good. and helping to maintain the American way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think everybody has that one or two special teachers that you will always remember that meant a lot to you in school.
Oh yeah, I got one of those.
And if they are teaching in the public school system, whether they are great teachers or whether they're part of the teacher group that's not good, they're all government agents by definition. And they take that to be like my mom always took offense to that as a teacher when I would call her a government agent. I was like, not all government agents are bad. I mean, them CIAs is out there fighting, whooping the hell out of Osama and everybody else.
So I guess happy National Teacher Appreciation Day to some of you.
Yes.
To almost all of you.
Well, a good portion, like 90%.
Vast majority of them are good.
Yeah. So starting.
And the moms and dads who are teachers as well in the homeschooling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what the numbers of homeschooling has, happened in the last couple of years. I would imagine it's gone up.
Yeah.
I think it's an awesome thing to do if you're able to maintain a job and teach your kids. And I can't imagine what the burden must be like, but I know that's an awesome thing if you're able to do it. Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, Seth Meyers, late night shows all will shut down production today because the Hollywood writers' strike is happening. $1 billion. So obviously all those late night shows employ a lot of writers. SNL, another one.
But a late night show. Okay. You're doing enough material to fill about 45 minutes of content. And you have to have a staff of writers, and you're supposed to be professional comedians come in there and do that. That's why I always say that they would never last on a 4-hour radio show with no writers, nobody putting stuff in front of them to say that's funny or any of that kind of thing. So you can't even run your show temporarily without writers and just wing it for a little bit.
Yeah, if you
lame.
I just looked it up. If you count Jimmy Fallon, they have 6 writers on the Tonight Show that write monologues and questions. And I guess they do sketches and bits as well. So that's a problem.
Yeah, but I mean they can cut that out. Go back to how many writers does it take for Jimmy Fallon to do some really good impressions and stuff? And how if he's one of the writers, why can't he just come up with it and say this is what we're going with?
Yeah.
Now I know Kimmel's not that great anymore at being funny. But Jimmy Fallon he's still got different talents and stuff he could do.
Yeah. And poor Seth Meyers, he was at one time he was so funny in his late night. He's just not great at the late night show, unfortunately, because I like him.
You do?
I do. I liked him on SNL. He was like hysterical. But again, they've got a lot of writers and stuff like that. But
I thought that the news anchors on Saturday Night Live were the main writers of the stuff that they say.
Is that
like
true?
I think Norm McDonald when he was doing
I
it.
think the anchor's right there on SNL update. They're right there on. Yeah.
Really.
But Seth Meyers is a cockroach of a person.
You're hot. And then, we were talking about the Met Gala. It is the top trending topic. It's a fundraiser where all these celebrities show up. The theme last night was Karl Lagerfeld, who was the head stylist at Chanel for a lot of years. And everybody dressed up like cats. Jared Leto, actor, singer, full-time weirdo, dressed up in a full cat suit. Doja Cat, also a cat. Lil Nas X dressed like a cat. A lot of cat stuff last night.
Can we give you a piece of a Doja Cat interview? This is from last night's Met Gala.
Wait, so who made it? Wow. Okay, so something a little different. So, what was your inspiration for tonight? Be honest with me and go into detail.
Yeah, that was her interview with Doja Cat.
Pretty wild.
But since her name's Doja Cat, she should do that all the time.
All the time.
The only words that she should speak outside of the words that she sings should be that.
Yeah. When they brought her out of her hotel, it's always like a big deal, a lot of paparazzi. They wrapped her in plastic so you couldn't see her and carried her out like a casket, like a coffin, so nobody would see like the makeup. The video is insane. It was like, that's Doja Cat. I'm like, how can you tell? It looks like a carpet roll. Like, how they transport carpet?
Yeah.
That's what it looked like. And they said Doja Cat's in there. I mean, just wacko beyond on another level. But it is fascinating to watch.
It was
God,
just
I love it.
a giant building full of clowns.
Oh, beyond. At $50,000 a ticket. I mean, it's incredible stuff happening up there in New York. So, those are a few things that are now trending. Love it.
So, a wise man once said, "You don't have to be Southern to be a redneck." Redneckness is everywhere, not just in U.S. America, but internationally. And we have a story from Spain that I think tops just about any regular redneck story as far as stereotype things, any we've ever had on the show. We'll tell you about this situation, and then you can decide for yourself how redneck it actually is. Coming up next.
Missed part of the show? Just download it. Get the Ace and TJ podcast on any platform. More of the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show is coming up.
In order to be a redneck, you have to be Southern. Like the two go hand in hand, which is not true at all. If you don't believe me, then go to any section of Las Vegas that is not in the tourist area. Just pick a random neighborhood and drive through Las Vegas and see how redneck it looks. But here is an even greater example. Because if you're going to go to the oldest stereotypes of redneckness, what are the top ones going to be?
NASCAR.
Toothless.
Yeah.
Oh.
Inbred.
Inbred. There you go. Okay. Well, this is a couple in Spain. Ana and Daniel. They have 2 children. And they had these 2 children after they met and knew that they were half brother and sister. They were half siblings.
Okay.
So half siblings just could not fight the urge to be with each other. They didn't know each other until they were adults. So they're not married because it's illegal in Spain to marry a direct blood relative. But they said that both of their kids are perfectly healthy, and they're they're fighting to try to get it to where they can be married.
So, the half, I'm sorry, does it say, not that it matters, are they same dad or same mom?
I don't.
Doesn't say, okay.
Yeah. So they had to hide their attraction for each other at first, but then they went on a vacation together, and that's where they could live like a real couple for a while. And they decided, you know what? People are just going to have to deal with it. I'm not sure, though, whether they have the same dad or the same mom, but I know that one of them must take after the other parent that they don't share, because one of them is pretty attractive.
And the other is not.
So
That counts for something.
mm-hmm. They said that here's the thing, though, with the children. They said the children know their parents are half siblings, although they haven't fully grasped what that means because they're little. Anna says they're still very young and don't understand. It's illegal in Spain, it says, to marry direct relatives, although consensual incest is not a crime. Wow. So that's why they live together and they're not, being arrested. They're having kids together, but not married. And then they are determined to make their relationship official and get married, and they're now desperately fighting to change the law. Quote, societies must advance and not cling to traditionalism, end quote. People always say that whenever they're doing something that is not recognized by most of the general public in wherever situation you're in. It's like you just have to get with the times, because whatever I'm doing, that's the way it should be.
Right.
Societies must advance and not cling to traditionalism. Well, I got news for you. If you go back to way traditionalism, you are traditionalism. Society changed away from that.
Yeah, they've reverted back to pre-change.
Yeah. Yeah, so we already conquered that one.
Yeah, we figured out this isn't great. You should not be doing that.
And the headline reads, I'm marrying my half-brother. Some say we'll burn in hell, but we're good parents.
Yeah, that's a good headline.
That's a good clickbait. That's
great.
Click. I'm going to read that.
Yeah, I mean, are you good parents?
Yeah, sure.
Are you really?
Probably. They're probably fine.
Okay.
But it's
But when
so
you
gross.
start out and you know that you're taking a chance on something being wrong with a child, if you decide to have a kid together, aren't you right there taking a chance on and not being a good parent?
Absolutely.
Well,
But,
if things are in your family, like genetics, if your family has a history of heart problems, are you irresponsible if you have kids? I don't know.
But we're talking about half siblings.
Yeah, I don't know. What are the chances? I don't know anything about that.
And in
The odds matter is what you're saying, Riggins. Like if they said, hey, you got a 70% chance of your child being born with a heart defect and you decide to have a kid, you think that's bad parenting?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Well, yeah. If it's overwhelming like that, but I would, show me the numbers. Like, are they going to come out with potato?
I just tend to go with, the basic idea that inbreeding is not a good example for children.
True, that's very fair.
Because that's what it is. It's inbreeding.
That is true.
Yeah.
So
It's what's half inbreeding.
Yeah, I mean,
So you can't. I don't see where the two would ever match.
But if they got away with it,
inbreeding, yet we're good parents.
but if they got away with it and the kids are okay, now can they be good parents?
No, because they're living as a couple, being half brother and sister.
some say we're going to hell. We disagree.
We're good parents. So if you got any thoughts on it, go send us a DM at the Ace TJ Show.
It's radio. It's a podcast. It's the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show. More next. Miss any part of today's show? Don't. Just download it wherever you get podcasts. This is the Ace and TJ radio show and podcast.
That's funny. I just came up with a great job interview question. If you're interviewing someone for a place of employment in your business, look at them and go, hey, what are your thoughts on people who only have tattoos below the knee?
What's the correct answer if you're hiring someone for that, TJ?
I don't know.
Oh.
You just you get their reaction and see, if that's a person that you want to have around all the time. If they start being all judgmental and everything, then maybe you don't. Judgmental toward you, I mean, for asking the question. I don't know, just kind of throw them off, keep them off guard. Quick on their feet. Go get signed up for Ace TJ Prime and Ace TJ Prime Plus. The Ace TJ Prime Plus is our subscription side, and look, I'm in the middle of I had a setback or so, one or two, in getting things set up so I can record from my house. I'm not the best when it comes to the technology, but I'm getting there. So hopefully by the end of this week or by Monday at least, it will be the first installment of the return of my political show. Working on it. I don't know how. I mean, I'm working on the technology part of it, but I don't even know whether I'm going to call it the same thing or not.
That's going to be my question. What are you calling it?
It used to be called TJ's Courageous Conservatism, but I don't know. It's kind of a mouthful. You know.
It's already branded, though. There's that.
Yeah, but it's been years, since Adam got scared for me to be doing it, and I had to stop.
TJ owns the libs.
No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding about that. But I don't know. But anyway, that's what you go. Any of our social medias or acetj.com, you can see how to get signed up. There is a bill in Wisconsin. It's pending that would allow kids as young as 14 to serve alcohol to customers in bars and restaurants if they are seated at a table, not seated at the bar. They can't be bartenders, but that would just merely mean that if you're old enough to work in the restaurant, which I guess in some cases in Wisconsin it's 14, or maybe you're the owner's kids or whatever, and you can take a tray of beers to a table and give it to them.
I've never understood that. That
why
rule.
the rule is there to begin with.
Yeah, if you're 15 or 16 years old, for example, I used to work when I was in high school, I worked at a pizza place. And the legal drinking age was 18. But if you were 16, like I was, you couldn't, if people asked for a beer, you couldn't somebody else couldn't even pour it and give it to you, and you just walk it to their table. I never got
dumb.
that. I don't understand that.
It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't understand open container laws. Because you're either driving past the limit, which is illegal, or you're not. What does it matter if you've got an open container of alcohol in the car with you? What is that? You're either drunk or you're not.
Just trying to cut down on the options.
It's dumb. It is absolutely stupid. Because if they're driving down the road and they're drinking from a beer, and their blood alcohol level when you pull them over is 0.02. Then they're not driving illegally. They're not drunk. So what difference does it make if they're drinking from a beer or if they're drinking from a Coke?
Yeah. There's a valid point in there somewhere.
It's because all that you're looking for is people who are driving while impaired.
Yeah.
You can pull over on the side of the road, crack open a beer in a parking lot or in your driveway before you leave. You can drink a beer, get behind the wheel, and drive off, and you're perfectly legal if you're not past 0.08. But if you drink half that beer, get in your truck, and drive down the road and get pulled over, then you get in trouble for breaking the law.
That's a good point.
You're not any more drunk than you would have been if you would have just drank the beer before you got in the car. I got to march on something, I got to get out there and march on something, man.
Do it, man.
Because if I can't drink a half a beer in a truck, then we ain't in America. We ain't free no more.
Agreed.
That's going to be your platform?
Yeah. I mean, hey, half beer in every truck. You hear about that chicken in every pot.
Half
beer in every truck.
Live in the morning and anytime you want it as a podcast. This is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show. More next. It's more than regular funny. It's extra funny. The Extra Funny podcast is live every weekday at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Ace and TJ app and available anytime where you get podcasts. Now, more Ace and TJ podcast and radio show.
So they write these stories sometimes like it's a big shock. Oh my God, look what we've uncovered. Researchers, and this is from Johns Hopkins University. Not one John, but two Johns Hopkins. They released the results of this study where they found that the number of dog walking injuries has quadrupled in the past 20 years. And over the 2 decades, 422,000 people have gone to emergency room after being hurt walking their dogs. Women and people ages 40 to 64 made up most of the patients. The most common injuries were finger fractures, traumatic brain injuries, and shoulder sprains and strains. But that makes sense because way more people have dogs than they did 20 years ago. Yeah. I mean, dogs have become accessories to people's lives. I mean, it makes sense that there would be more. But I don't know how they're happening. They say avoid, get shorter leashes to avoid tripping, avoid places where a dog is known to be distracted, like around other dogs' butts, I guess. And use the front attaching harness to help keep the dog from pulling. You ever been hurt walking your dog, Regan?
Yes, multiple times.
Well, I know you've stepped in holes and things like that, but that wasn't because of the dog, though, was it?
Yeah.
It was? The dog pulled you into the...
Well, yeah, basically, I mean, it was caused by walking the dog. I stepped in a hole, and then the other week when I sprained my knee, that was because of the dog.
But you wouldn't have done
like
that if you would have just been walking out in the yard or going for a walk, or the fact that the dog is what made you go for the walk, so you ended up walking into a hole or whatever it was.
I blame him.
Yeah,
I blame him, and I am relatable to a 45-year-old woman. It makes sense to me.
Ace, you ever had an injury walking the dog?
No, I've never had one, but I've never walked a dog nearly as much as Riggins has.
Mm. Now I know people who have tripped over them and hurt themselves in the house and stuff like that.
That's the thing.
Yeah, and I think one time Amanda may have gotten tangled up in the Toby got caught up in the leash and may have fallen down and scraped her knee or something, but wasn't anything major.
Yeah, traumatic brain injury. I mean, that sounds. I mean,
yeah, that's tripping and falling hard.
Heck yeah.
Into a steamroller. That's bad.
You're right,
that is bad business.
But it only makes common sense because so many more people even A, have dogs, but B, walk dogs. It used to be most people that had dogs you didn't see a lot of people that had dogs in high-rise buildings or in the city, but now you see tons of people that have them.
It would have been the same statistics if you would have said 20 years ago the number of people having to be committed because they are insane about their dog, was way lower. Where they think the dog's talking to them and whatever else. That's probably increased in the past 20 years. So come on, Johns Hopkins, do better. Please.
Riggins and Now Trending is next.
It's a radio show, it's a podcast, and it's a TV show. Watch the Ace and TJ show anytime. Just search for Ace TJ TV on YouTube. More of the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show is coming up.
We have had some technical problems.
Hit it! You are connected to Ace TJ 5G. Ace TJ Riggins Alexis Tech D-Rob. Live from the Calatrend Studios, this is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show.
Oh, poor Alexis has fallen on some hard times. Yesterday she was stomach issues and whatnot from being out drinking and eating donuts all day Sunday. That's what they said she was doing, drinking and eating donuts.
Really?
Mm-hmm. She even said that.
It's on her Insta story.
Yeah, she said had too much donuts. And then this morning on her way to work had a blowout. And I think she's still sitting on the side of the road.
No way. She's still on the side of the road now?
Well, let's see.
It's been like 3 hours. More than that?
Well,
about 3 hours.
About 45 minutes ago she was still. But at least it seemed like her boyfriend is there helping her. So
should we go?
Go home?
No.
It's not the news, it's more important. Now trending with Riggins on the Ace and TJ Show.
Let me rephrase. I mean, yeah, we should, but
Well, go home.
yeah, I mean,
That's not what you meant.
Not go help her. Just go home.
Yeah, I don't want to help her. I don't. Call AAA. It is National Teacher Appreciation Day. Everybody's talking about that, and telling stories about their favorite teachers ever. Yada yada. We love teachers though. But the internet's daddy, as they're calling him, Pedro Pascal, is also trending. He was at the Met Gala the other night, and that's what he was wearing. Interesting look for one of Hollywood's hottest actors right now.
Are those like black biker shorts with a red shirt, a black tie, and a long red coat?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting look.
Interesting look.
What has he been in?
He was in The Last of Us. He's in The Mandalorian. He is in
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Anything that non-weird people watch?
Narcos.
Yeah.
Good one.
Too many subtitles.
Women find him
don't think there's anything-
very, very attractive. I mean, they call him the internet daddy.
I know, that sounds stupid.
Well, of course it does.
And he looks like a clown. Just like all the rest of those clowns at the Met Gala.
It's an interesting look here.
Oh, he was also in that movie with Nicolas Cage where Nicolas Cage plays himself.
Yeah, I didn't see that one yet.
Oh, it's really good.
Yeah, I got to get out to see that one.
It's on my to-watch list.
No, I really do. I wanted to see it from the beginning.
There you go.
Is he the one that plays opposite
Yes.
Nick Cage?
Yep.
Okay, he seemed pretty funny.
What movie, Rob?
It's called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
I watched that 2 weeks ago. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I saw that it was going to be good as soon as I saw the trailer for it at the movie theater.
It's great.
And I never have gotten around to watch it. I've been so busy.
Just slammed. Slammed with stuff.
Been out here content creating and everything else.
That's right.
Influencing.
Yeah. If you're 100 years old and you still watch late night shows, you're out of luck this week because there's a writer's strike going on in Hollywood, which means all the late night shows, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, Stephen Colbert, they're all, standing, I guess, in unison with the writers going on strike. So they're going to have, I'm sure, canned shows run all week. And I found out something crazy yesterday. CBS was paying like $65 million to produce James Corden's late night show, and it wasn't making hardly that much money. So that also contributed. I don't know. I don't think they fired him, but I know it was not sustainable. $65 million to make a late night show.
They offered him $50 million to stay.
And I guess, there's no way they could balance that, budget.
But
Are there
Les
other ways-
Moonves said one time that they don't hire late night hosts and pay them all of that money because they think they're going to make money directly from the shows. Like they're way overpaid from what money they bring in from the show.
Yeah.
But it's, other things like the promotion of them and all that gets people to the network. Or
Yeah, and I bet things like they probably made a lot of money off carpool karaoke. I'm sure their YouTube website, all that kind of stuff, social media hits and all. I'm sure that does a lot. Like Jimmy Fallon is perfect for that sort of thing. I'm sure the Tonight Show makes a lot of money off social media and YouTube type stuff that he does.
Yeah, that number was shocking for James Corden. I was like, oh my gosh, because that's not even the first. Because it must be Stephen Colbert that runs on CBS before him. I don't know.
I don't know. But they're
there's
all a
lot
bunch
money.
of hacks.
Yeah,
All of them.
Goobers.
Yeah. Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel at the top of the hack list.
Top 2 hacks. Hacks. Here first. And speaking of old people, there is a guy that isn't interested in retiring, much like Ace.
No, I'm interested.
It's just not going to
It's not
happen.
going to happen, but I'm interested in it.
Yeah, I don't know this guy's current situation, but he's in the same boat. He's going to work until he can't work no more. So, but an interesting story I'm going to share with you coming up next.
Share Funny is now a little extra. The Extra Funny podcast coming up at 9 a.m. live on the Ace and TJ app and anytime wherever you get podcasts. This is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show. Share Funny is now a little bit extra. Don't miss the Extra Funny podcast. Live every weekday on the Ace and TJ app or anytime wherever you get podcasts. This is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show.
Go subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace TJ TV. Make sure you hit the little notification bell so you never miss when new content is posted. We got a new episode of Nerd News hosted by one Tech D Rob going up today. Check out yesterday's new episode of the TJ and Jody's House podcast. Extra Funny podcast posted every single day. So much content up there. It's ridiculous. And I can't believe it's free. For free. Go get it. There's a guy named Edward Diggett. He's 78 years old, and he's a lot like Ace. He's a lot like Ace because he's in very good shape. And he's going to work till he dies. That's what he says.
Yeah.
And
He
Ace has
wants
said
to. I have to.
Well, he doesn't. Well, he actually does. He does. He does say he wants to, but he works as a personal trainer in the UK, which I didn't even know was a thing, but it is a thing. Works at a place called Pure Gym. He's got 20 years of experience as a personal trainer. He was in the military before that. He trained under a Shaolin master, doing something. I don't know what are you training to be
I don't know what that
under
means,
a Shaolin master.
Sounds cool.
Sounds like samurai stuff. But he also competed in the Commonwealth Games in 1962. That's like the UK's version of like the mini Olympics. Also trained to be part of the SWAT team in the UK. So guy's well-rounded, and now he's a personal trainer at the age of 78. And he said, I think women would like to hire me as a personal trainer because I have a medical background. And I didn't totally get the connection there, but it seems like he trains mostly women. But listen, he wants to work forever. He said, I feel great. I've never felt better. So here's the question. I'm not too old for blank. Tell us how old you are and one of your very youthful interests. Are you 32 and you still love Uncrustables? Or are you 45 and never miss a new episode of SpongeBob SquarePants? Are you 37 and still have Power Rangers on your shirt?
This should be the easiest topic we could throw out to get audience response in the history of the Ace and TJ show, because we live in an age of adult adolescence.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
So, I mean, it's like standing on stage and asking the audience to give themselves a round of applause.
Exactly.
It's the easiest, cheapest applause you're going to get.
I didn't need cheapest, but easy peasy lemon squeezy. So what is it? I'm not too old for blank. At the Ace TJ show, we'll find out next.
Get Ace and TJ anytime, anywhere, at your convenience with the Ace and TJ Show podcast. Available wherever you get podcasts. More Ace and TJ is next. Live each weekday on your radio, anytime you want, wherever you get podcasts. This is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show.
Make sure you go subscribe to Ace TJ Prime. It's it's taken over for the Share Funny family. So if you want to come to our upcoming live events for free, all you got to do is head over to acetj.com/prime, get signed up. Totally free. It takes 2 seconds. And then we'll send out invitations for our next upcoming live event. It's very exciting. Or you can do the Ace and TJ Prime Plus. For a low fee, you get some exclusive content, commercial-free audio and video of the Ace and TJ show, and so much more, including the return of TJ's political podcast, acetj.com/prime. So we're talking about things you're not too old for. I'm not too old for blank. And there's some great ones on here. Like Brandy. She's in her 30s. She still eats SpaghettiOs. She said, my husband likes them too. Before we had our son and had to start being real adults, we would eat them for dinner. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing
Still
wrong
love
with that at all.
SpaghettiOs. Ace will get down on some raviolios.
Yeah, it's been forever, but I would love to.
Would you?
Feed them to the children.
Sure. But my favorite one comes from a woman named Ashley. And this really hit home with me. Ashley said, I'm 38 and I'm not too old to take on a slip and slide. I thought, hell yeah. 38.
Who doesn't love a slip and slide?
Slip and slides are great. I haven't been on a slip and slide since I was a little kid, but dang.
Especially once you get kids and like you have a slip and slide. It's one of the first things we got was a slip and slide. Like,
Fun.
watch how this works, man. Let me show you how to do this.
Yeah, there's a learning curve.
It's what it's all about.
There is a learning curve on the slip and slide because you can belly flop and just land in the backyard.
Yeah.
It's not as fun. So you gotta learn how to do it right. But once you do, it's great.
Quick slip and slide recommendation. Take the little pool they have at the end, fill it full of water. Maybe if you have a slight hill, put it a little bit going downhill. When your kids are small enough, it's a lot of fun to just stand back when you can pick them up and just fling them down there. They love that.
Yeah, that's good.
Got to be careful, though. Off the end into the yard, grass will get you.
Yeah,
But
got them up.
They had a blast. My kids loved it.
If you ain't got grass stuck to you, then you ain't slipping sliding.
Yeah, you're not doing it right, man.
You ain't slipping nor sliding.
I got some recommendations on how to do the slip and slide.
I like Christy here.
Put dang dishwashing liquid on it.
Oh, you bet.
That's what we used to do.
Down to dawn.
Christy said, I'm 46 and I still wear one-piece footy PJs.
That's ridiculous. I mean, I'm sorry, that's ridiculous.
What are you doing? You said I'm not too old to. Are you going to tell her she's
But she
ridiculous?
is.
Yeah, I mean,
He's saying she is too old to be doing it.
I know.
Footy
You can't say
PJ.
that. She gets to pick what she's not too old to do.
that's true. Well, I'm gonna.
Well, what if it's pooping a diaper?
is
She's
there a
still
line?
okay to do that?
I think wearing one-piece footy PJs is not the same as pooping in a diaper.
Will they let you wear those without a diaper?
I don't know.
And I'm going to call out somebody else who wanted to be anonymous, but I don't care. Kayla, who works upstairs, she DM'd her. She goes, "I'm 33 and I still eat those pizza Lunchables." And I thought,
Those are disgusting when you're a kid.
there's so many great cheap pizza options.
Well, and there's so many other Lunchable options that are
I was going to
better.
say, but do you know how many times Lunchables have shown up on
Yeah,
this thing? They're everywhere. People of all ages love Lunchables.
And Lunchables are not good. I mean,
But I mean, it's just cheese and crackers, right? And a little piece of ham or turkey.
yeah, but the ham is rubbery and wet. It's like, why is this ham so wet? Wet ham. It's just wet. And then the cracker is not any good. And
Ooh, your ham is wet.
why your ham so wet, boy? But it is. It's like dripping wet. It's so gross.
Jessica here says, I'm almost 30 and I love stuffed animals and blankets. You can never have too many blankets.
I thought she was going to say stuffed animals. I'm like, yeah, my dear, yes, you can. Now, it's different for a woman. I think some people might look at that and say, oh, that's cute. But if a guy has a lot of stuffed animals, that's like a huge red flag, I would imagine.
Yeah.
It's not cute for a woman.
You don't think?
No.
Can never have too many blankets. My grandma, my
And the
mom
blankets,
made this.
yeah. But stuffed animals, I mean, you go look at a woman's bed. She's married, got kids, and her bed is just covered in stuffed teddy bears and bunnies and stuff. Yeah. She need to go to the hospital. Some people say, that's what this person said. I'm reading a comment on it. I'm not personally saying that.
Yeah. Anyway, Ace said something pretty revealing about his relationship with his wife, and I think TJ might be able to relate as of yesterday. So we'll get into that coming up next.
From the Calotren Studios, this is the Ace and TJ Show. Find out more about Calotren at acetj.com/weight loss. Don't just listen to the Ace and TJ Show. Watch it. Now available 24 hours a day on YouTube. Just search for Ace TJ TV. This is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show.
If you want to help out a really great cause, just head over to acetj.com/baby, and you can donate through an Amazon wish list to a couple of great places, Levine Children and the Jeff Gordon Center at Levine Children. It's great, and it's really easy, and you can donate however much you want. You just purchase a couple things for them off their Amazon wish list, and it's adorable stuff. I get lost looking through that stuff, and I go, oh, I want to have a kid. So they make a lot of cute stuff now. acetj.com/baby. And then I come to my senses, and I go, what was I thinking? I don't want a kid. I can barely take care of a dog. But soon, it'll happen, because they make cool stuff. acetj.com/baby. Ace made a revelation yesterday. And then TJ had something similar happen during his podcast. We were talking about something you're into that your significant other is not into. And Ace, without hesitating, he goes, anytime I tell a story that his wife, Amanda, is not into. And then yesterday, I'm listening to the TJ and Jody's House podcast, and TJ was talking about where the word highfalutin comes from. And Jody's like, oh my God, this story is taking forever. And I thought, is this just something that happens when you're married to somebody for any length of time? They just stop caring about whatever you have to say? Like, what is that? Because you both said the exact same thing. I thought, well, that's really interesting.
No, it's just that Jody gets in here on the podcast and she starts trying to show off for Mr. Todd.
Oh.
And so she starts, picking on me.
Yeah.
And she eats that up that people say, you're the only one that can put him in his place. She loves that. So sometimes she comes in here all sassy. So she's suspended.
Yeah, you just got to shut her mic off.
And I'm like, you going to tell me my stories alone?
Yeah, that's what she said. She goes, listen, she's being real sarcastic about it.
And she said, yeah, and when I do add those details and all that, you just go, and rushing me along.
That's true.
I do not.
What made you say that yesterday?
It's common knowledge in my house now. I'll give you an example. Doing live from the living room. I've been in the process of telling a story on live from the living room and had Amanda reach over and squeeze my knee. You know what happens then? Your boy about to go longer every time.
She squeezes your knee because you're talking too long.
Like a nudge, like that's okay. It's long. Like let me know if she thinks my story's going too long.
Really?
And it's like, I'm sorry, I got confused. I thought this was on the Ace and TJ show stuff because I happen to be Ace from the Ace and TJ show.
You're right.
And you do that and you just get ready. Oh, and then I'll say something. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and start another story, and you just gonna have to sit there.
Jody would say, like she says, you cut me off. Do you cut Amanda off when she's telling a story?
I don't think so. I mean, sometimes I do just because I get it. It's like, and it's a bad habit of mine. If people are talking and they get a story that's good, and I'll want to participate. Like I'll respond, but I should just be quiet. And sometimes I just want to respond because I'm kind of into what it is they're talking about, and I don't mean to. But she takes that as me cutting her off. Yeah, and so I've just quit talking. I was trying to set something up last night about a story. I forgot what it was we were talking about. Sitting there at the dinner table, she goes, "Okay, and just get to the end part." And I went, "I've been talking for about 7 seconds."
Yeah, that's
what
the
are
way
you talking
Jody
about?
did me yesterday, and maybe because she had heard that story many times. But that's the thing that I get impatient with is that you're going into detail about stuff that I already know. So, that's what I'm saying. Hey, let's go. Like I know.
But nobody wants to hear that when they're telling a story. Like, oh, move it along.
Yeah, and I don't say move it along. I'll just go. Yeah. Then what?
Wow. Well, that was just interesting because you both had a very similar situation yesterday, and it was all revealed. I just love hearing about couples. And then I think I can't wait to get a girlfriend to tell me to shut up. I go nuclear.
And my wife's going to be telling stories, at the welfare line. I kick her out of the house.
Live on your radio and anytime you want us, wherever you get podcasts. This is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show.